Greetings, Spooky fans! Michael here, and today I will be talking about my favorite Pokemon of every single one of the 18 Pokemon types. Now, if this sounds familiar, that's because I have made a video on this exact same topic before that many of you have probably seen. However, that video was posted over 3 years ago, before even Sun and Moon had come out, so I figured it was high time for an update. And my goodness, is it quite the update? Less than half of the Pokemon featured in the original video still have a slot in this one. The only real disclaimer I have is that if a Pokemon is dual typed, it can only count for one type's entry. But I think that covers all the intro stuff, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and let's dive in. I'll start with a quick one. My favorite grass type and favorite Pokemon of all time is Sceptile. I won't spend much time talking about this one because I've talked about it in so many other videos over the years, but Sceptile was the first starter Pokemon I ever had in any Pokemon game. I thought it was cool right from the get-go since lizards are some of my favorite animals, and the incredibly powerful nostalgia I have with it has cemented its spot as my all-time favorite. My favorite dark-type Pokemon is Umbreon. This is unchanged from the previous video, as is my opinion that it is the best evolution. It looks like a simply well-designed Pokemon that has an extra coolness factor added to it because of the bright red and yellow coloring contrasting with its primarily black color scheme. The fact that the rings glow and they turn an electric blue in its shiny form really enhances the awesomeness factor of this Pokemon. Plus, the Pokemon Talk Umbreon is just such a fun character. My favorite flying type is Talonflame, another one that is the same as my previous video. First off, Talonflame just looks excellent. It's not a complicated design, but it's a really nice looking bird. But the reason I love it so much is fond memories of using it back in Gen 6. Before Gale Wings was nerfed, I used a Talonflame with Priority Brave Bird to get a 50 streak in the Battle Mason doubles and do pretty well in a regional VGC tournament. It was just plain fun to use, and I'll never forget that fun experience. My favorite fire type is Blaziken. This is actually a change from the previous video in which it was Charizard. However, over the years, my love of Mega Charizard X has waned, while my annoyance with all of the special treatment that Charizard gets has increased. Gigantamax Charizard may look cool, but I still don't think it should exist. I love Blaziken because it just exudes ferocity. The intense facial expression it has, the gnarly looking claws that can be lit ablaze, and the long powerful legs are a fantastic combination that creates a Pokemon clearly built for kicking ass. Clearly, I think Gen 3 is an extremely solid generation of starter Pokemon, and it's actually my favorite generation of starter Pokemon. Sceptile is of course my all-time favorite, Blaziken is freaking fantastic, and while Swampert won't be featured on this list for the water or ground type entries, I still think it's a really good Pokemon. If I had started with Torchic or Mudkip instead of Trico, I am very confident that Blaziken or Swampert would have ended up as my favorite all-time Pokemon instead of Sceptile. My favorite fairy type is Alolan Ninetales. Originally it was Xerneas, but in that video I actually did say that once Sun and Moon came out, it would switch to being Alolan Ninetales. That did indeed end up being the case. Alolan Ninetales is simply a beautiful Pokemon. It looks far more majestic than original Ninetales, and I love its unique typing. It's my favorite Alola form by a sizable margin, and I really enjoyed using one on my Ultra Sun team. My favorite electric type Pokemon is Zebstrika. Originally it was Luxray, which is a Pokemon I still really like, but Zebstrika's just passed it up in recent years. Zebras have been my favorite animal ever since I can remember. Literally, some of my earliest memories are me playing with my favorite zebra toy. So of course a zebra Pokemon is automatically going to be one that I like. But making an electric zebra with lightning bolt stripes is so incredibly cool that it is impossible for me to not like this Pokemon. My favorite poison type is Crobat. This is unchanged from the previous video. I've always thought Crobat just looked really good. I've always thought Zubat and Golbat were kinda ugly, but Crobat takes their pretty cool premise and makes it look actually cool. I love the swapping of the color scheme, and the 4 wings instantly indicate that this thing is a skilled flyer. I've used Crobat many times in my various Pokemon playthroughs because I simply think it's great. My favorite psychic type is Metagross. This is a returning Pokemon from the first video, but in that one it was actually my favorite steel type. The favorite psychic type was Gallade, but I decided to cut Gallade from this video because Metagross takes priority, and there was a steel type Pokemon that I decided I like more than Gallade, so Metagross gets the Psychic spot and that other Pokemon gets the Steel spot. Metagross has one of the coolest designs in all of Pokemon. It's a terrifying four-legged robot with a gnarly X on its face. That is objectively cool, and it's made even cooler by having such an awesome shiny form. It's simply a fantastic Pokemon and definitely my favorite pseudo-legendary. My favorite ice type is Zen Mode Galarian Darmanitan. I know, it's kinda weird, but I'll explain. First, I should say that in the original video, my favorite ice type was Lapras, a Pokemon that I, to this day, believe is an excellently designed Pokemon and a classic for a reason. However, when I was making that original video, I kinda picked Lapras because there weren't any other ice types that really stood out to me other than Alolan Ninetales, but that's the fairy type. So I kind of picked it just because I think it's well designed, but my liking or love for it has never really been super strong. But then, after years of waiting, they introduced an ice fire type Pokemon. A type combination that I've been saying in videos for genuinely years that I've most wanted to see because it's a really awesome concept of combining two opposites together into one creature. At first, I wasn't that into Zen Mode Galarian Darmanitan because I thought it would suck, but as it turns out, it's actually really freaking strong, which is awesome. Also, I love the background of its design, where Galarian Darmanitan's flames have become dormant inside its body due to the cold, but when Zen Mode is activated, they come roaring back to life. That is awesome. My favorite fighting type is Grapploct. This was an instantly liked Pokemon for me as soon as I saw it. Clobbopus is also extremely cute, but Grapploct is it's just so freaking cool. Its fighting stance looks really awesome and imposing, and its color scheme is excellent. I love when bright and vibrant colors are contrasted with darker colors, and giving it a superhero mask is just plain perfect. It also helps that its shiny is one of the best ever created. Seriously, how did they successfully pull off changing it from an already fantastic color scheme to an equally fantastic color scheme? Like, holy crap. Grapploct might be the fastest a Pokemon has ever gotten into my top 10 between it being revealed and it getting into my top 10. Although before I move on to the next type, I want to give a quick shout out to Phalanx and Breloom because those are two really awesome fighting type Pokemon that aren't that far behind Grapploct in my ranking. My favorite normal type Pokemon is Castform. This is unchanged from the previous video because my love for Castform has actually only gotten stronger over the years. I have always thought Castform was extremely adorable. Its big head with the goggle pattern around its cute eyes is an amazing cuteness combination. I think its design premise is really fun too. But what's made me like Castform more now than I did before is all of you jerks. Okay, of course not all of you are jerks, but it's just, I remember very vividly on the first video, somebody commented that as soon as I said that Castform was my favorite normal type Pokemon, they clicked off the video. In retrospect, maybe this entry should have been the last one. But anyways, I have grown to like Castform more over the years because I've had to defend it so much. It's an extremely cute Pokemon that looks like a water molecule. Yet so many people say it looks like it has inappropriate body parts. Come on, that is not fair. It also doesn't help that Game Freak kinda seems to hate it too. They gave it terrible stats, no shiny form for its alternate weather forms, and no sandstorm form, despite it being introduced at the same time as all of the other weathers. So in short, I've always thought Castform was great, but the fandom and Game Freak's unjust treatment of it has only emboldened me to defend my love of it even more. My favorite ground type Pokemon is Gliscor. This is another one that's unchanged from the first video. Gliscor just looks cool. I love the dark wings on its back, and its facial expression looks menacing without looking horrifying. It kinda reminds me of a creature of the night type anti-hero, which I think is awesome. It definitely doesn't hurt that for many years it was excellent in the competitive scene, and its shiny is one of my all-time favorite shinies. If I was taking a channel mascot today, there's a decent chance I would take Shiny Gliscor. It fits with my channel's color scheme. My favorite bug type Pokemon is Vikavolt. If you're around for the days of my Generation 7 Let's Plays, you already knew this. Also, I should note that for the last video, my favorite bug type was Scyther, but in that video I did say that once Gen 7 came out, Vikavolt would take over. And like the situation with Alolan Ninetales, that ended up being true. I already thought Vikavolt was really cool because of its design. It's a fearsome bug that doesn't look horrifying, but it's also my favorite type, electric type. The idea of this really cool bug firing off electric blasts from its big pincers is just really cool. But what catapulted Vikavolt into my top 10 favorite Pokemon, actually number 2 as of the last time I made that list, was using it in both my Sun and Ultra Sun playthroughs. Havoc was my Vikavolt in Sun version that kicked a ton of butt and came in incredibly clutch against the Totem Lurantis. And of course, my Totem Vikavolt named Ion in Ultra Sun was a part of one of the most famous moments in my channel, my incredibly clutch defeat of Ultra Necrozma. There's no way I couldn't love this Pokemon after those incredible experiences. My favorite rock type is Gigalith, which is unchanged from the previous video. I just think it looks awesome. I love the body style, which is similar to Metagross, so it's unsurprising that I like them both. And the brightly colored spikes jutting out just looks so good contrasting with the dark color of its body. Its fantastic shiny accentuates that contrast even more. I love Gigalith simply because it looks great. My favorite ghost type is Marshadow. Originally it was Gengar, which is a Pokemon that I still like, but Marshadow's just something special. Marshadow is of course extremely adorable. I love how it's this cute little guy with shadowy wisps coming off of it, and it can also get up to some adorable mischief by entering and exiting the shadows. However, it's not just cute, it's extremely freaking strong, which is just plain fun. I also love how it lights up when it attacks or gets angry, which is a really cool design aspect. I honestly wish Marshadow wasn't a mythical Pokemon and had more balanced stats, because I think it's just so great, and I really wish I could use it in a playthrough or competitive team at some point, but due to its mythical status, that's unfortunately not that practical. My favorite Dragon-type Pokemon is Rayquaza. Originally, it was Haxorus, which is a Pokemon that I still really like, but what made me love Haxorus was using it in Gen 5, and I haven't really used it since then, and that was a long time ago, so it's just not as fresh. Rayquaza, though, is timeless. If you don't count mythicals as legendaries, then Rayquaza is my favorite legendary Pokemon. It, along with Groudon and Kyogre, are my favorite group of generational mascot legendaries because I love the sky, sea, and land theme. Plus, they all look really good. Rayquaza is the best of the three because it's a super powerful serpentine sky dragon. That is awesome. Plus, I have great memories of using it extensively in my Ruby version, so it's got similar nostalgic value to Sceptile. My favorite water type is Dracovish. I can explain. First, I should mention that in my original video, my favorite water type was Blastoise, which was the first Kanto starter that I ever used back in Leaf Green. However, I've barely touched the Pokemon since, so I don't know, I've just kinda lost interest in it. But Dracovish is fresh on the mind, so while it may not be my favorite water type a year from now, it is right now, so I'm gonna talk about it. Now, I know this may seem like a strange Pokemon to have as a favorite because it looks freaking weird. It's a fish head glued onto the back half of a dragon, and it's glued onto the tip of the tail rather than the body segment. It is objectively weird, but that's what I like about it. Its design premise, which is the reason for its weird appearance. That's what I like about all of the Galar fossils. If you didn't know, the Galar fossils are inspired by paleontologists, well, screwing up. Over the course of history, there are several instances of paleontologists taking the bones from several different creatures and combining them together into a new one that never actually existed. I've known about this ever since I was a kid. My favorite dinosaur has always been the Apatosaurus, which is often called Brontosaurus. That would really get on my nerves because the Brontosaurus never actually existed. The Brontosaurus name came from a paleontologist taking the body of an Apatosaurus, but the head of a Camarasaurus. The Brontosaurus, it's not the right name. It never existed. Although apparently there are some recent studies in 2015 that say that the Brontosaurus did actually exist and that it's a separate genus from the Apatosaurus, but it's a weird, complicated thing that the Wikipedia article did not explain clearly, and also some scientists still seem to disagree, but the basic premise is the same. So while it is definitely, inhumane. The design premise of the Galar fossils is still really freaking creative, and I love them for that. Plus, I love that they're not rock types. I've talked about this in other videos before, but I have always disliked that every single fossil Pokemon is made a rock type simply because it was a fossil. There are plenty of them out there, like Cradily, for example, where a different secondary typing other than rock would make more sense. Like poison type fits perfectly on Cradily, not rock type, which was just given to it because it was a rock 10 minutes prior. No, it was a rock. It is not a rock anymore. Yes, rock type does make sense for some of them, like Rampardos, for example, but just giving them all rock type across the board, I've never liked that, and I'm really happy that the Galar fossils broke that cycle. And I like them a lot because of that. But what's made Dracovish stand out above the other fossils for me is its ridiculous power with Vicious Rend. I won't go into too much detail about this because I discussed it heavily in a video I posted recently about OP new Pokemon, but the fun I have had dominating the battle tower with my Dracovish named Megalo has made this Pokemon grow on me quite a lot. And finally, my favorite steel type is Corviknight. Remember how I said that Metagross was the steel type in the previous video, but now it's the psychic. So this is a change, but the old one isn't gone. I liked Corviknight the instant it was revealed because it's a super imposing, powerful, giant armored bird, and it's only grown on me more since then. My playthrough Corviknight named Nosedive was instrumental to my team, almost single-handedly defeating more than half of the gym battles during my Pokemon Sword playthrough. Additionally, Corviknight is already proving to be great in the competitive scene thanks to its excellent typing and amazing ability Mirror Armor. As icing on the cake, it's got dope shiny forms. It hasn't surpassed Talonflame as my favorite regional bird just yet, but as time goes along, I think there's a decent chance it will. So there we have it, those are my favorite Pokemon of every type. Thank you so much for watching, and an extra special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon who are helping support me financially in a way independent of the fluctuating YouTube ad revenue. If you want to support me in the same way and get some cool perks in exchange, the link is in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out my Pokemon Sword Let's Play on the second channel, and if you want to watch some more fun Pokemon videos on this channel, you can click up here. All right, that's all I have for now, so till next time, Pokefans. Gotta catch them all.